Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Dre in the Kitchen. So I've got a little story time for you. I was on the phone with my aunt and my sister the other night, and my aunt was having a craving for rice. Now, when my aunt cooks rice, my sister and I always flock, but of course they're in New York and I'm in Florida. So I'm gonna recreate, as it's one of my favorite dishes, it's arroz con maíz and salchicha. So rice with corn and Vienna sausage. Now Vienna sausages have a combination of pork and products, but they also come in chicken. So follow me along and let's make this together, and I promise you it's gonna be one of your new favorites. So now let's put everything together. This is my favorite way to do it. You can use a traditional caldero if you like. I'm just using a non-stick Calphalon pot, which is pretty good for me. So I'm gonna put my heat on to about medium high to get started. As this heats up, I'm gonna put in about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You can use a neutral oil. Is extra virgin, that's just my personal preference. I love the flavor it gives. Okay, that's maybe like 3 tablespoons there. I'm doing enough just to coat the bottom of the pan. So we'll let that heat up for a second, and then we're gonna start adding with the most important ingredient, which is our sofrito. I'll put a link to the sofrito video up on top, but look at how gorgeous. It's nice, it's green. Some folks use red peppers, yellow peppers, orange peppers. It's entirely up to you. This is my grandmother's recipe. So I tend to stick to the tradition because grandma will be looking down from heaven and she'll slap me on the hand if I do it wrong. Once your oil starts to glisten the way it is, let's add in about 2 heaping, and when I say heaping, take a look, because it's again, everything is relative, but it's gonna be a massive heaping tablespoon. And you start to hear the sizzle. So we're gonna let that go. Taking our trusty spoon. Look at that beautiful, even the aroma that's coming from this at the very beginning is absolutely incredible. So what are we gonna add to this? Let's raise this up a little bit so that way it can continue to sizzle away. There we go. That's the sizzle I want you to hear. To this we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons. I'm using, hold on one second, Cento tomato paste. I'm putting in about 2 tablespoons, roughly. There we go. Don't be afraid. As you're making this recipe, I want you to use your senses. Your nose is going to tell you when something is needed or something might be missing. Trust your intuition as you cook. There we go. Everything is coming together beautifully. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in about half a teaspoon of black pepper. I have it ground here, so it's always available. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of ground oregano. There we go. I did measure that one out for you guys. Then we're going to add about 2 teaspoons of my homemade adobo. I'll also try and put the recipe up in the iCard for you. This is my own homemade, so I control the amount of salt that goes in there. Let's just mix this all together. Your home should be smelling absolutely amazing at this point. All right, while that goes, let's go ahead. I'm going to add, I have 1 can of Goya tomato sauce. So in that goes. Again, this is how my grandmother taught me. So of course I have a little spatula here just so we can get out all the goodness from the can. There we go. Let's stir that all up. To this I put, I don't know, I would say a cup total. These are olives with the pimentos and capers. I add extra with a little bit of the brine because I think it just makes it delicious. Plus we love olives in this household. So in all of that goes. Make sure that your heat stays nice and consistent. And you gotta be careful and move quickly at this part because this is where it likes to jump, bubble, and dance and go all over the place. I'm gonna throw in, I have 2 dry bay leaves. Hear the bubbling? It's about to explode. To this I have 1 15-ounce can of corn. I did use the liquid. Stir that together. Oh, the aromas. It smells so good. Look at all that color. I also have 2 small cans of Libby's Vienna sausages. You could use chicken sausages. These are the traditional ones made with pork. Well, pork and a whole slew of other ingredients in them. So I'm gonna let this come to a slight boil before we add our rice. So as you can see, this is starting to bubble. So I have some fresh cilantro or coriander. I've washed it and just throw it in. It gives this beautiful freshness to this dish. There we go. Let's just let that continue to go for another couple of seconds. And I've measured out 3 cups of medium grain rice. So I leave this debate up to you. I do not, oh, there we go. I am not rinsing this. I've checked, there are no impurities in there. I put it in because I want that starchiness. That's my choice and preference. You can rinse and wash your rice. Just know that I've learned the ratio of medium grain rice is 1 cup of rice to 1 cup of water. Long grain rice is usually about 1.5 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. So keep that in mind when you start to add your liquid. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in all of my rice. This is 3 cups because this is great as leftovers. I will not lie to you. Stir it all together. I think my grandmother would be happy with this color. I do not use sazon or anything like that. I just prefer not to. I think I stopped using it many, many years ago. But I can hear my grandmother's voice in my head. If I'm not trusting my intuition, she would definitely have something to say about it. So we're gonna let that simmer for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then we're gonna add our liquid. Now it's bubbling away. It smells so good. So in the traditional calderos, we have what we call pegao. My Dominican friends call it concon. And the reason I use the nonstick, 1, it's easier, but 2, right now I'm creating that crust on the bottom by leaving this alone and letting it completely get beautiful underneath. I am actually going to use chicken stock. I have a quart here. You can use water. Water's fine. I just love the flavor. This is low sodium. I make my own chicken stock, by the way. So I like to control the different flavors that go into this. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this real quick. Look at how beautiful. You hear that? That's because I'm creating a beautiful crust. Great flavor. Let's add in the stock. Let's see how much we're going to put in. We'll start with a cup. So half of this. So the question I get was, how do you know if it's enough water? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? When I make white rice, it's very easy for me to give you exact measurements. But because this is medium grain rice, I don't think I need any more water. So I put in 1 cup additionally of water. So now I'm gonna leave this alone. In fact, I'm gonna taste this because it's important to taste your food. We need to know if it needs any more salt, any more adobo. I'm not eating the rice, obviously. The rice is hard. That's delicious. A little more adobo. But you want to make sure that you get your flavor profile correct because your rice is going to absorb. So here we go with the homemade adobo. I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons. Maybe 2.5. Mix it all together. And I think that's all it needs. It's very flavorful. Now that we're done touching the rice, we're gonna let this bubble away for a few moments. Then once it dissipates a little bit and a little more liquid is absorbed, we're gonna cover it, lower the temperature to probably medium-low, set your timer for 28 minutes, and then we're gonna come back and check to see how beautiful this rice turns out. 28 minutes have now passed, so let's remove our lid and let me show you what we have. Doesn't that look absolutely amazing? So what I like to do is I take a fork, so this is obviously this is a serving fork, so I can fluff my rice and see exactly. Oh, this looks and smells absolutely amazing. Take a look at how beautiful this is. So you all, I can't even begin to tell you what this smells like. Now, of course, you can make this rice with your favorite side. I'm probably gonna make some steak. I haven't decided yet, but you heard me taste it right out of the pot, but look at how beautiful this looks. You have no idea, no idea. Let's take one perfect bite. I'm gonna put some olives, a little bit of salchicha, a little cilantro there. Don't burn your mouth like I do. That is so good. Wow, that's amazing. So from my family to yours, please make this recipe. Share, like, comment. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that bell notification. I'm going to start to increase the videos from once a week to twice a week. And let's just share this with everyone. Hopefully, if you love this recipe, share it out with some folks. I would love to get the feedback as to who makes it, what you thought, if you made any changes to it. And most importantly, trust your intuition. Use your nose. Your nose will tell you over time what's missing, what's needed, and follow your instinct. You can follow a recipe, but just trust your gut. All right, I love you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get dinner ready, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye.